Are we going to do some like funny intro, like go, or are we just straight at the camera?
We can both point at the camera. Go from the
Let's just go regularly.
Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Firefly Studios video. A couple weeks back, you may have seen I released an extended gameplay video of this here Warlords demo. Let's see, will he make it? Will he make it? Oh, yeah. Now, upon seeing the demo, you all had, as we expected, some questions, some concerns. So to answer some of those questions and concerns, I have enlisted the help of Nick, my trusty assistant, or the the marketing director here at Firefly Studios. He's going to help me again answer some of these questions, answer some of these concerns, and hopefully you can rest easy at night knowing that Warlords is indeed going to be the best stronghold yet. Kenny on the Discord came up with this idea. It is a modification on our usual Stronghold Chill series. So if you haven't checked those out and you do end up liking this video, you should go check that series out as well.
Especially my episode.
Exactly. I think it's the highest viewed, sorry.
Obviously.
Not the lowest rated, highest viewed. But yes, thank you, Kenny, for coming up with the video suggestion. So Nick, are we ready to jump into the demo and answer some community questions?
Absolutely, can't wait.
Let's do it. So let's jump back into this alpha demo. We're just going to go through the questions. So if you want to see the alpha demo in raw form with everything explained, I will link the proper alpha demo extended gameplay video in the description. So go check that out if you just want to see me take you through all the different buildings and what's actually happening here.
And if you've only got a minute and a half, watch the PAX trailer, because that's basically the same thing condensed down to a minute and a half.
Exactamundo. So we're going to address the first question, and that is from Spartan Paintball, and he asks if there will be larger maps in the final game.
Yeah, absolutely. So the demo map is obviously a demo map for a show, right? So we had it at previous shows where we'd have like a multiplayer demo, for instance, and people would be sat there for like an hour playing the game.
Yeah.
And you can't really have that at shows, at conventions. You have to have like a good 10-15 minute limit on it, so that people can actually experience the game, in a short period of time, like all the different things it has to offer, but also just to get lots of people through. Otherwise you get a huge queue and people get sort of frustrated that they can't play the game. So this is in fact a small map of all the different sizes in the game.
So it's the smallest map you can get in Warlords.
I'm not entirely sure whether it's the smallest, but it's definitely small. Medium, you're going to have large, you're going to have extra large as well. I believe in the map editor. So there's going to be so much in terms of the space of the map. So this is just to be clear, this is a small map designed for our shows at Gamescom and PAX.
Hopefully, while Nick was answering, you saw me scroll around the map. I gave a little tour while you were talking, so you could see literally how big the map was.
Nice. I admire your ability to use the WSAD keys.
So we'll move on to League. Will there be a building limit, or will there be options to sort of customize the building limit?
We're definitely looking at advanced options for players in that regard. It will be the same as all Stronghold games, in the sense that if you're playing in free build mode, you'll have no limit. Essentially, you have the limit of the max number of players in a map. Yeah. The more players you have in a map, the lower the limit will be, just because you have to keep it balanced, fun, and quick for people. Wow, you've really you've placed those stairs amazingly. That's better. So we're definitely aware of the fact that people are asking for options to remove things like that, and we're definitely looking at them as sort of an advanced customization option. But in terms of the core gameplay, it will be exactly like classic Stronghold games, where you have a limit based on how many players there are on the map. If you want to just go crazy, you can just jump into free build mode and essentially have, the max limit in the game, and build, to your heart's content, which people have done in free build mode in the past. But yeah, we're definitely aware of the concerns, and we're definitely looking at the possibility of some advanced options for players in that regard.
Absolutely. Cool. So, as I highlight our new housing system here, again, I talk about that in an extended way during the extended playthrough. So check that out again if you haven't. Moving on, we will go to Raphael Posh, I think. And he asked if you can make resource shipments from the Warlords, as if like a caravan were to arrive when you ordered stone, or some sort of physical presence for that shipment.
Yeah, we actually made the decision to limit those physical sort of representations of things to military units for essentially sort of for gameplay reasons. The design team wants the Warlords to definitely provide the benefit that they're trying to give you. So we want to make sure that you open the Warlords map and you can select a Warlord and they will reliably do that thing for you. And we want to make the Warlord system feel really powerful and responsive. So at the moment we haven't got that in there just because it would be a nightmare to test and design maps around and balance. And also we just want the Warlord system, the main reason is we want the Warlord system to be really powerful, really responsive. If you've built up the diplomacy points, it's quite a lot of effort to build up diplomacy points, to take over Warlords, to keep them from other players, because other players can kind of outbid you with diplomacy points. They can take them by force, they can destroy the castles, etc. So we want it to be sort of a really reliable, mechanic in the game that makes you feel really powerful.
Fantastic. Santiago Astor asked if it would be possible to upgrade cheaper housing, as we see over here. This is why already set up. So the hovel, which is our cheapest house, to something like a hut, which is the next level up.
We don't have that functionality in the game just yet, but it's definitely something that's on our radar. It's pure, like if we didn't have it in there for launch, it would be purely because we just don't have the time to add it, and we have a very, very, very small team size. But yeah, it would be essentially something that's on our radar at the moment that we're kind of looking at, but it's just kind of low priority at the moment just because we've got so much else to do on the game and so many more animations and systems to get in there and levels to design and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that we've got on our radar, but it's kind of something to be discussed at various Warlords design meetings and that kind of thing.
And we will move on with DP, who asks, would be awesome for the scribe to have an Asian accent?
It's going to be the scribe's kind of distant cousin. So we're hoping to keep kind of definitely the humour of the scribe in there. Absolutely, that's kind of the main thing we're going for. But yes, he will absolutely be a distant cousin from the region, not the scribe that we know and love. But hey, he could come back in a future game, And
I'm sure we'll have a deep dive on him later on.
Yes, there will in fact be a deep dive on the scribe at some point. So I'm looking forward to that.
We'll get into every single character flaw.
Aaron's going to dress up as the scribe.
Any opportunity. Cool. And as as you can see, I have an alternate defense lined up here. It's an not the most aesthetically pleasing, but it's doing okay for itself. But as my archers defend against this catapult here, we'll move on to Grandmeister Dan.
Oh my god, these usernames are amazing.
Yeah, I may have chosen certain ones because they had the better username. He asks why peasants and soldiers in the alpha demo do not talk when you click on them.
Well, you've answered your own question there, Aaron. It's an alpha demo.
Oh yes.
We're actually doing the recordings very, very soon. So yes, of course there will be peasant voice lines. We definitely want to get the system where you click on a peasant and they kind of give you a sarcastic summary of your style of rule in there. So we're definitely looking at that feature at the moment. And yes, of course, it's an alpha, so we're using sort of legacy voice lines and stuff like that just to kind of give the demo something.
Cool. So we'll move on. I think we're 3 days away from victory, so we'll speed up a bit. With BDKH, who says he would love to face smart, difficult enemies. I'm not sure if that's smart as in book learned or do they have diplomas? But
how well learned are they?
How many books do they read a year?
I would say, in comparison to Crusader 2 specifically, they're going to be a different kind of difficult. They'll definitely be smarter. One example being the castles they build aren't just going to be pre-baked. They're going to build things in the game. They're going to kind of play the game more believably and more reactively. They're going to be much better at managing their economies. They're going to be much better at reacting to what you're doing as well, rather than just kind of like, having a set of behaviors, like essentially like or if statements that you know they kind of adhere to, and archetypes in terms of the units they use and the kind of castles they build. They're going to play a lot more like a human player would.
Yep.
Obviously, AI is AI, and it's always going to be slightly different to a human. We hope at some point. God, scary prospect. But yeah, the idea is that they'll play the game in a believable way. They're going to be managing their economy better, reacting to you better, and much more smart than they were in Crusader 2. Much smarter.
Great. So we'll move on with another legendary name.
You look like you're about to lose the demo.
As my walls. No,
what?
that's fine.
Oh no, end the demo, rather.
Yeah, well, we'll do another playthrough, and
Okay.
I'll show you Aaron's secret tactic.
Just the one.
Yeah, it's just the one. It's how I will play Warlords when it releases next year, like 24/7, and you'll see what it is. I don't want to spoil it, but as we end, 15 seconds to go. Paul Scotch, again. Where are these
This is
names?
a real name.
Yeah, maybe, and if it is, then I hope you're an alcoholic. I'm joking. He says, would it be possible to build walls and buildings on Warlords' lands? And I assume that's Warlords you have taken control of, and then you build.
Oh, I see what you mean. So, so they're going to have their own estates. So you actually won't be able to build on them, but you will be able to sort of make changes that would cause them to build things. So obviously you can upgrade your warlords as you progress through the game. What that will mean is that at level 0, they'll just have a keep like they do in this demo. You can see the Ox and the Tiger both just have a keep. So when they're upgraded in the full game, they will build castle walls, a bit like the turtle has. But in addition to just a bunch of castle walls, they'll also have their own sort of mini economies as well. So the idea is once you upgrade them, they'll build their own castle, they'll build their own economy, even their own defenses. Yeah, there's kind of just enough space on their section of the map for those things.
Yeah.
But we're not going to allow you to build on their estate because they are essentially another, not another lord, but another sort of warlord, like another minor lord on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they got their own thing going.
Yes.
Why don't you leave your colonialism at home, Paul?
They're AI at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
They kind of do things and you can command them in certain ways. So it made sense for us to give them their own sort of castle economy.
Great. We'll move on. Jesus, these names got to be fake. Jeffrey Jimson.
We're just being trolled.
I know. One of the best parts of Stronghold 2, again this is rather a statement which I thought we could elaborate on. One of the best parts of Stronghold 2 was having peasants being allocated roles and jobs, and that was individually.
Yeah.
So, oh sorry, I better ask the question, guys.
Explaining it to me.
This is how you interview.
That's what Stronghold is.
So yes, will peasants, as you can see here, there are peasants. I'm not going to try to pronounce names.
Well, you can test it out now, right? So if you build a building and do that while you're zoomed in on the peasants near the castle. Yeah, so there you go. That person has just had a nifty change of outfit. And Tao Li is
now a rice farmer.
Yeah.
And has even got the time and job.
Yeah. So the idea is and we'll probably do some features on this later on, but the idea behind it is that you're kind of a peasant that comes to your castle then becomes either part of your industry or your army. So yeah, that's basic Stronghold, 101. So that's definitely going to be in the game.
You're seeing my plans coming to fruition now. You just wait. It's going to be
Voozle Factor.
Voozle Factor.
Another example of Voozle Factor. If you don't know what Voozle Factor is, watch Stronghold in the Far East.
Yeah. Cool. So yes, peasants will have individual jobs, individual names, and will be voiced. So they're all,
just like in real life.
The whole package. And we'll move on to Rocky D12. He says adding unit veterancy, kind of like in Red Alert and Civilization. So the more if they do a great job by killing everyone around them, they get bonuses. They get kill things better, I guess.
Yeah.
So will that be in Warlords?
It's definitely something we're kind of looking at the moment. The main kind of challenge in adding relatively simple but quite sort of generic RTS features is that we have to make sure they fit in with Strongholds. They have to fit in with balancing the game, so they have to fit in. Are you okay? Is everything going all right?
I think I went too quickly with the.
Oh, you might lose this one.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah. So to Rocky's back to Rocky's question. We don't want to just add sort of features for the heck of it. We want to add things that kind of don't destroy the kind of careful stronghold balance of the economy, of the balance between different units and that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that's on our radar because it comes up quite a lot in comments. But yes, watch this space.
Cool. Moving on, we have Sir Jax. Will warlords actually build on their own lands, and will they have their own economies to maintain?
Right, yeah, so slightly different to the previous question. They'll build on their own lands, and they'll each have their own kind of, things that they do. So economy-focused warlords will build economy buildings, more military-focused warlords will build barracks and stuff like that, and they'll each have common buildings like maybe some hovels and stuff like that. But it's mainly to give you an idea of kind of what their function is, so you can just scroll across to an enemy warlord and see that they're being given loads of resources. So if you took out that warlord, it could disrupt their economy significantly. Or you look over at yours and you know that this warlord, if you took over him, could potentially give you a massive boost to your army. So it's mainly kind of a visual thing, just to make sure you know what that warlord's about and what they can do for you.
Ant Elbow, he asks, are there any more animations being added or any more sort of animation work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a bunch, again, Voozle Factor, look it up. We've got a bunch of plans in terms of animations. Certain animations are obviously not final yet. There's loads and loads that we still have to add when it comes to the economy itself. Unit animations, certain unit animations are going to be reworked. So yes, the answer is loads more planned for the game.
Great. Janos Pintor, can you add Fog of War?
No, it's not Stronghold. Sorry.
Damn. Sorry, Janos.
I'm never going to get that one past design. So unfortunately, no. It's definitely like part of the Stronghold identity at this point. So and it's all balanced around that. So
cool.
There's enough going on in Stronghold without Fog of War, I feel.
True. Sajad B asks, are the sounds we're hearing in the alpha demo final in the game? Because he's hearing a lot of sort of Crusader 2s. Right,
yeah. So like I've said before, it's an alpha demo. We're using legacy, sounds, voices, that kind of stuff. In the final build, we'll have obviously new sound effects, completely reworked voiceover. There'll be a few Stronghold favorites that will return, of course, but yes, in the final game, completely new voices and things like that. This is purely just an alpha build. Yeah, because the options were either don't have the sound effects in there or use slightly older ones.
Exactly.
So we just had to go for the older
ones.
You
can go on a stock website.
Yes.
Freesound.org, shout out. But yeah, those aren't great. So yes, a whole new soundscape for Warlords is what we're saying. Great. Now we're rifling through them. You won't be able to see my grand army of fire oxen in action.
That's great.
Yes, for those of you who haven't realised what I'm doing, basically you build a bunch of rice farms, you up the rice your peasants are getting, that makes them super happy, then you tax the hell out of them, then you use that taxed payments to build all your diplomacy buildings.
It sounds positively devious.
And then you just go to the ox ward and you're like, bro, bring me those fire oxen, and we're about to ask for another, there we go, it's really rolling now.
This is an alpha demo, by the way, not perfectly balanced.
I did try this before, though, while I was at Gamescom, and there was a guy watching me play, and I had this whole thing here, and one of the enemy archers snuck into my base, and they all... but yes. Anyway, let's get back to the question, shall we? Fan Kurami, he hopes his low system can support the game. So I thought we could talk a little bit about the specs of the game.
Yeah, so I'm sure Matt said this in previous videos, one of our programmers, but the goal is to have them around or just above Crusader 2 levels. So we certainly also hope that you can run it. It's definitely something that won't come, we won't have finalized until we're actually in testing. We're alpha at the moment. We still have to get all the core features in the game, get to beta, and once we've done that, we can do a bunch of testing on the game, and it'll be at that point that we know, what optimizations are still to be done and that kind of stuff. So it's definitely like it's a next year, probably quite close to launch kind of announcement to be made. But we will announce it before launch for sure, and we're hoping they'll be sort of just above Crusader 2 levels, I think.
Moving on.
Oh no, everyone's on fire. That's fun then.
Yeah. Yep. We gotta be careful here, lads. We gotta be careful. Get the these ones. All my rice farmers are going down. So this is where it all comes into play, Nick. So I'll just ask you a quick question.
Looks really nice on the keep now, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks good. Get him go. Fucking home run, boss. Uh-oh. So while I send out my army, Oscar Gudici asks, is it just coming to PC?
Yes, keyboard and mouse, and also just a bunch of technical reasons. At the moment, we're just looking at Steam. So.
Yeah. Testralon asks, is the popularity system going to be as the same in Stronghold 3? And I thought in general in older Stronghold titles, how are we going to change up the popularity?
So food's actually split up into rice, meat, and vegetables now. So it's a little bit more complicated. You want to have all three of those to give your peasants, give you a nice positive popularity boost. If you have all three, the boost will be larger than if you just had some food in classic Stronghold games. But obviously, if you're missing one of those three parts of the key diet, then you'll take a little bit of a hit for that. So that's a bit more complicated. Two other things: we've got housing quality in the game now. So the more high quality housing you have, the more popular you will be. And then lastly, something that we haven't really shown yet or talked about too much, but we're going to have a system called Spirit in the game where you can build temples and have those cover certain areas of your castle, and that will provide your industry and economy with certain boosts as well, and sort of hopefully tweak your popularity a bit as well. But that's all to be kind of decided. So there's quite a lot more in terms of the sim gameplay there, and we'll be going into those in future videos.
Yeah. Hilariously, this last one is quite poignant, as my entire castle is charred.
I told you he was going to lose.
JanTube asks, or says that Gunpowder looks a little imbalanced.
So obviously we're miles off actual testing for the game. It's alpha build. Another thing to point out is that the demo obviously features quite weak units. So for most of the demo, you're just attacked by tribesmen and like blowpipe and spearmen, tribesmen. So they've got no armor, so obviously they're going to be really, really fragile and really, really susceptible to gunpowder. More heavily armored units are way more resilient in the game, and there are a few that attack you, but they're not really featured very heavily in this demo. So that's something to kind of bear in mind, because we have to design the demo around people that have never played Stronghold before, essentially. The idea is that everything will have kind of a soft, hard counter system in there, so no one unit will be overpowered. So yeah, we're just miles off testing at the moment, and this is definitely like an alpha build. So yeah, stay tuned and watch out for future videos featuring units with armor who can actually stand up to gunpowder. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna play this final. Oh no! Oh, you might be right.
I told you you'd lose.
I need... Where are you, Tiger?
To be fair, the Lord's got so much health that you might be able to...
45 seconds, run!
I mean, he's losing it pretty quickly.
So yes, that was the final question. As all, we're on a right... Oh, no, they're gonna... No! Oh,
you might survive, you might survive. Just see how this goes. See how this goes. See how this plays out. 1,700, 20 seconds. Come on, you can do this. This would be great if you survive it. This will be so good if you survive it. Come on. Yes, you're doing the classic run him up the hill towards the Buddha statue. 1,700.
Save me, Buddha!
10, 9,
Save me, Buddha!
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Victory!
I mean, it says victory, but there's victory and there's victory.
Cool, so after that climactic finish,
intense.
Indeed, my heart's just beating, Nick, and that was just the alpha demo. What's the final game going to be like?
Exactly.
It's going to be crazy. Firstly, thank you, Nick, for joining me today and answering all these community questions.
Thank you to the community for A, suggesting the concept for this video, and B, asking the question.
I'm taking my thunder, why don't you? You answer the questions, I do the intro and outro.
Sorry, boss. Sorry, boss.
If you did get one of your questions answered, or you found out a new nugget of information which tipped you over into the Warlords camp.
I want to wishlist it.
Exactly. Oh, yep. I was just about to say, you can wishlist it right now on our Steam store page, which is live. There'll be a link in the description if you want to do that. Also, you can join our official Stronghold Discord. As always, if you did like the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe here on Firefly Worlds on YouTube for more Stronghold content every single month. See you next time.